What's happening, fellas? We have the Professor Bill Blythe here about to give us a little history lesson on the Lambretta. Woo-hoo. Coming in hot, coming in hot. This thing is absolutely stunning. This came from the dealership in Ohio that just closed. The guy was 75 years old. He's owned this thing forever. And it needed virtually nothing for us to get it going. Sounds pretty good. This is exactly the way it came to us, which is to say pretty much perfect. Can we shut it off? That's a joke. Guys, I have a very limited knowledge about the Lambretta scooter. It's a little bit before my time. So Billy Blythe knows a little bit about these. So we figured we'd bring the professor in. And I'll tell you straight up, I've never seen a nicer one. The paint job on this thing's off the hook. The red and white. And I'll pull the side covers off for you guys in a minute. And the motor looks to be in brand new condition. This is a 3-speed, 2-stroke, 150cc Lambretta 150. Billy, can you give us a little history lesson on the Lambretta, what you know about them and this one here?
Well, I'm not the most knowledgeable person on the planet to do with the Lambretta, but I did have one of these, quite a bit newer than this, in 1965 model, but this, I believe, is a 56 or 57. It's stunning for sure. They have lots of innovation on these things, like the shifters here on the handlebar. You pull the lever in, and first gear is up, the rest are down. It's a turnkey, cool bike for sure. Spare tire, fuel in there, air-cooled, fan-cooled engine underneath these shrouds.
Pull the cover off for you?
Sure, yeah.
This cover here has a little lever on it that just, it comes right off. And look at the quality of this. This is like, what, 70 years old, and it looks brand new?
Right, indeed. Look at the drivetrain.
Oh, there's the VIN number right there.
There we go. That's what we're looking for.
VIN plate, yep.
Yep, indeed. Yep. And I believe these are shaft drive,
Yeah,
if not gear drive. I really don't know that much about the drivetrain on these, but this is the Kickstarter here, this big lever sticking up, and there's a foot brake on the floor like with your car. Yep, and these handle good. They probably do 55 miles an hour. But you got to watch every little crack in the road, because with these little tiny tires, it wants to go every which way but
Did you
loose.
ever crash yours?
I did. late Friday night, hardly any headlight on the bike, and going too fast, I just slid out in the sand, crashed it. But
I'd say that was the fate of many of these, I imagine, right?
I could imagine so, yeah.
They're really fast. With the little tires and a 152 stroke, this thing rips.
That's right, indeed, they do.
I was ripping down the street on it yesterday. I wish the weather was better so we could take it outside.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I got to ride it inside. That was enough for me, thank you. But for today, yeah, the scooter boom took off in England in '65, well after this bike was produced. But this was I think, one of the most highly produced in numbers Lambrettas of all time, this particular model.
So parts should be plentiful?
They are. In fact, there's a lot of collectors out there and remanufacturers that make parts for these. So, you know.
But before we put the cover on here and get into more into the history, I want to point out a couple things. This is the gas tank right here, and this is the on-off valve for the gas tank. We'll put that to off right now. You can see the fuel line is brand new, and this says Dell'Oro F18 on the carb. The intake boot is beautiful, nice and pliable rubber. It looks like NOS. And the air box is inside there. If you can zoom in, you can see it's got a 2-stroke top end, like something you'd see on a Hodaka 100 or a Suzuki TM 100 back in the day. This is a 150. It must be a long stroke because it looks like a small cylinder. Everything looks almost, well, if not military, commercial grade, like it's built to take a beating. I'm going to put the cover on, and Billy, you were giving me a little lesson earlier on the history of these and their industrial applications. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, Ken, these bikes were converted by the factory into service machines. There were some that had extra wheels in the front, some with extra wheels in the back, and they were used in little Italian villages where it was hard to get around. Deliveries were made from grocery stores and whatnot to families. And so they were known for being bulletproof, reliable, pretty quick, and in service like that, that's the worst environment you could put a machine through, and they shone really well. This particular model, though, I've never seen a better one as far as condition-wise goes. You know, all the panels are there. You know, and look at this. This is just amazing. You know, this nacelle here, just look at the condition of that, and the fact that it's still there. And I believe Innocenti was like a parent company, this Innocenti here, parent company to Lambretta. And in the 60s, once these were very well established in England, there was a scooter boom. They sold over 200,000 scooters in England in the year 1965. And it got so big that the Triumph and BSA guys didn't like it. They didn't like the scooter guys with their neat hair, and they were their badass with their leather jackets, and those guys wore you know, cotton suits and ties. So they had a big fight. They wound up going to Brighton to the beach, and there was a big battle where the scooter guys and the rockers, the mods and the rockers, had their big battle there, and that started a whole generation.
Wow. There's probably some movie, I remember seeing something in the movies about that.
Yeah, there is a movie called Quadrophenia by The Who.
Oh, wow.
And it features a guy that was a scooter guy. He was kind of a dysfunctional guy that was stuck on drugs, and he wound up in the end driving it off the cliffs of Dover, the white cliffs of Dover.
Wow.
Yeah, he'd had
His
it.
Lambretta?
Yeah, his Lambretta was all chrome plate. I think he stole it from somebody, but he wound up riding it off the cliff.
There's the fate of one of them.
Yeah, right, indeed. Indeed, so.
Let's pull this cover off on this side here. One of the things that I found was really remarkable when I pulled this off, and I've dismantled a lot of motorcycles, is the quality of the cover and the fitting. It's just, like I said, it has a very heavy, commercial, industrial feel. And you look at the quality of the frame and the engine. Look at the size of the cylinder fins, and the intake and the exhaust is all definitely a commercial grade, like you'd see on a commercial piece of equipment.
Yeah,
even the rim,
these
everything.
machines were built to last. With a single-sided swing arm there, just like Ducati had years later. This is the fan cooling shroud, so the fan spins in there, draws cool air in over
It's
the
air
engine.
cooled with a fan? I didn't know that. So there's a fan inside
It's
there?
fan cooled, just like a lawnmower engine in that way, but it keeps it cool and reliable.
Wow.
And the tubular steel frame, this is, I don't know if it was common to other brands, but the tubular steel frame makes the machine handle better, makes it stiffer, because this design with the missing part here, like most motorcycles have, you know, you need to have that stiffness down below to transfer into good handling.
Like a super low center of gravity.
That's right.
Yeah, they probably handle pretty good with a low center of gravity like that, right?
Yeah.
Relatively low with the tires.
I don't know if I'd be scraping the panels on this thing going around the corners, but yeah. Anyhow, I don't think that's what it was made for, but definitely a machine. I believe you could easily do 50 miles an hour in this very comfortably.
Wow.
Something that old.
What about riding two up with a passenger? That looks like almost an afterthought, like they added on almost like a horse saddle on the back, but it definitely has a really cool vintage look. So does the rear tire.
Right. The British call the back seat the pillion seat, the pillion rider, and
That's where Harley came up with the pillion pad from, huh?
yes, and I don't think I'd want to ride it back there myself,
Yeah, I don't think you pay me enough to ride back there.
especially not if you were driving, Ken.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
Right.
So there's a little lip in the front, you gotta put that in and then it clicks right on.
Yep,
But
that's right.
Like I said, it has a real heavy duty, like, all the metal on it. It's what year did you say it is?
I think it's
Roughly?
mid-50s, 55, 56 possibly.
So how old is it? That makes it 65 years old?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, and it's like brand new. Even the leather on the seats, the
Yeah.
seat springs, this looks like the original cover on the back, and even the Lambretta floorboard is intact. It's in 90%.
That's right.
Perfect.
This bike, I don't think ever saw much use. Yeah, it's in very good condition. Excellent. It's like built like a 55 Chevy.
Hey, guys, this is relevant, not to this motorcycle, but to the integrity of the guy that we bought this from. That's his brand new, in the box, 2004 Honda CB50R. Anybody who has the intestinal fortitude to buy a brand new motorcycle and never open it up and play with it, it's definitely a guy who knows how to take care of a machine. Also, in the auction, we have a 73 CB750, which I thought was an NOS when I got it. It looked like it was brand new, the gas tank and everything. That was his bike, okay? This scooter, I'm not a scooter guy, but Billy said that he'd never seen a scooter of this vintage in this condition. This is right
right.
along the line of you'd expect from a guy who's got a brand new 20-year-old motorcycle. He's never even put gas in a tank, in a 1973 Honda 750 that looks like the day it rolled off the assembly line, and he owned over 40 motorcycles. We bought the whole collection. Matter of fact, he really didn't want to let the scooter go, we had negotiated a price, and he was like, hey, I'd kind of like to keep the Lambretta. And I was like, we're driving to Ohio. He had a half a dozen what I'll call premier motorcycles. This one, the CB50R, the CB750, a W650 Cafe Racer, which you'll see is absolutely stunning. That was his personal rider. This is a guy, even though he was in the late 70s, took really good care of his stuff, only aged out and decided to close the shop, so he needed to sell his stuff. So we went out and bought everything, 2 36-foot trailer loads of bikes and parts and everything, over 3,000 manuals. He was a collector of manuals, or manual inventories now, and probably well over 5,000, so huge. And this scooter came from that guy, so this isn't something that was forgotten about in somebody's basement for 40 years and resurrected. This is something that's been lovingly maintained since it was new by a guy who was obsessed with it. So, and it shows. Mark, our detail guy, he did the steam clean and hand wash and polishing of the paint. And he sent me a picture of the paint. He goes, I can't believe how nice the paint is on the side covers. I don't know if that's the original paint. If it is, it's remarkable because the finish is the same both on the front here, and all the chrome is in mint, so I gotta believe it's original. I have no reason to not believe that. Just absolutely remarkable condition. Now, the speedometer is kilometers on this too, right?
Yeah, I believe so, Ken, yeah.
And
Yep.
it's showing 24,229 kilometers, which would be, what about
But look, it says miles per hour.
miles per hour?
So,
Maybe it's converted to American, who knows?
could be.
It's either
Could be.
kilometers or, not quite sure, but.
One or the other.
That's what it's showing. Obviously, well-maintained, professionally maintained, and it needs nothing. They're ready to go. Fires right up, and Kyle's 21 years old? 21? Kyle's 20 years old, and he's our project manager, so when the bikes come in, he has to make a list of what it needs, get it to the tech, and he does the test ride before it comes to me. He got off the thing and was like, this thing rips. He was surprised at how well it went, because he's used to riding like Honda 50cc four-stroke scooters that have no balls whatsoever and only do 35 miles an hour.
Right, yeah.
And this thing will practically wheel you up the street if you pop the clutch, So it's a different tool. And like Billy had mentioned, they use this basic model to make a trike truck where they had like a cargo area in the back and use them for industrial applications. It was very much what I had said about the capacity, the construction of the frame and everything
Right.
has an industrial feel.
It's robust. Robust.
Yeah, robust. Yeah, they actually use these in an industrial application. Is that correct?
Yes, oh yeah, indeed. Industrial and, commercial deliveries and whatnot.
Mail
Yeah, mail,
delivery and that
and
kind of
great on gas. I think they get 100 and something miles per gallon, believe
Guys,
it or
it's
not.
like free transportation. Put $1 gas in there and ride
Ride for a
40
week.
miles.
Yeah, right.
So, anyways, if you have any questions about this bike, please give us a call, 860-454-7024. Billy, any closing statements about this particular Lambretta?
Not really, other than the fact that it is mint, and, everything on it works like it's supposed to, and if I could own it myself, I would. Definitely would.
All right, well, maybe we can get a volunteer to ride on the back. We'll do a demo on a nice day with someone riding on the back. We'll get Sarah to ride on the back with Junior or something, but very cool piece, ready to head to the beach. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, and God bless America.